Hi, sweeties. How are you doing? Welcome to Naya Sim. Thank you so much for the support. Hope you all are great. So I came across, this has really been trading for probably a day or 2 days. Like, I wasn't sure what was going on because at some point I didn't pay attention to it. But then I started seeing everybody doing it. Woman actually came out to tell Black people that they are colonizers, that they go around stealing other people's history and all that. Why did she say that? Because someone that is half Black, like I think 25% half Black, played a role. In fact, it's a cartoon role that she played, like in real life. So it become a problem. It's the problem is that why would a Black person play that kind of role when the real person in the cartoon that played it is wide, blonde hair and blue eyes? So she is mad. And to my greatest surprise, some conservatives also supported her motion. This one is even really the one that got me like rolling on the floor because I really do not see how an adult would be so much concerned about probably a person or a real human being playing a character, a cartoon character, just because the person is this. Just I just don't get it, but it's kind of weird and crazy. And now they are attacking it race kind of this thing. But they actually tell us that they don't see color. The whole thing is just guys, so let's get into this video.
What the fuck? And before you start with me, yeah, it has to do with her race. Because this is a story about Vikings. Look at the real Astrid. Blonde hair, blue eyes.
Look at the real Astrid. Blonde hair, blue eyes, voiced by a Latina and an Asian who's also, fictional. She's fucking fictional.
You know, people love to throw out the term whitewashed a lot, but I would really love to discuss what kind of color washing is happening to every live action movie that comes out now. Didn't need it, definitely didn't need it, still don't want it. And here you guys are basically making the Lion King live action with How to Train Your Dragon.
So not only are you whining about other fictional characters, all it takes is one actress with a sprinkle of melanin, and all of a sudden the production is the Lion King live action, huh? No, ma'am, I think you just might be racist.
Because here is the new Astrid saying I could never do America Ferrera's interpretation of Astrid because I am not her. Well, then maybe you shouldn't be her. Honestly, I think we're at the point where we can start calling this cultural appropriation. You know, I was willing to let go of the mermaid thing and the blue fairy thing and all these things because those are just mythological, made-up things. But now you're just distorting history so that you can effectively pander.
Okay, first of all, cultural appropriation in this instance is fucking stupid. And second of all, I think you need to get over yourself because absolutely no one cares what you're willing to let go of. You look ridiculous.
Dragons are mythological. Yes, but Vikings aren't. Vikings, the people, the culture, the history, that is real.
No. The Vikings and How to Train Your Dragon are also made up entities. Sure, they're based off of real Vikings from like Norway, Scandinavia, all of those places. But the Vikings in How to Train Your Dragon are from Burke, which is a fictional place. Please tell me the history of Burke. Are there black people in Burke? Yes? No? You don't know because it's fucking made up? And you're screaming about, this is based off of real history and based off of real people. Do you know what based off of means? Things can be strictly based off of something, and things can be loosely based off of something. And in both of those scenarios, there's still going to be differences from the original instance because it is based off of the original instance. It's not a recreation of the original instance.
I hear a lot of people complain that we don't talk about Black history enough. Well, yeah, maybe it's because y'all are busy stealing everyone else's history.
Us stealing everyone else's history. Us stealing everyone else's history. You ever seen the movie The Last Samurai? Why is Tom Cruise the main character of that movie?
Next up, Black Vikings are real. Yeah, about as real as transgenders.
What was that? This just in. The trans community just caught a fucking stray. The trans community just caught a fucking stray. We have a two-time offender. She's racist and transphobic.
This is the answer Google gave me after about 5 whole seconds of research. While there is evidence that suggests Vikings may have been more diverse than previously believed, including the possibility of Viking presence in Africa, the evidence for the existence of black Vikings is still extremely limited. We can therefore say, no, it is not likely that there were black Vikings. The only time in history that black Vikings might have become a thing is through slave trade or assimilation through farming, marriage, combat, whatever. They could make Astrid black, but they'd either have to portray her as a slave or someone that traveled thousands of miles to culturally appropriate Vikings.
Okay, I'm going to ignore the fact that 5 seconds of research and a Google AI answer is not enough research to find out anything about anything, and we're just going to go straight for your comprehension of this 3rd grade paragraph right here in front of your face. While there is evidence to suggest that Vikings may have been more diverse than previously believed, including the possibility of Viking presence in Africa, the evidence for the existence of black Vikings is still extremely limited. Not non-existent. Extremely limited. Something exists. We can therefore say no, it is not likely. Not no. Not definitely not. Not no, it's not possible. Not likely. You can't make this shit up because you immediately go on to contradict yourself by giving 2 scenarios in which black Vikings might come into existence. And then you're like, so either they'd have to make Astrid a slave or she traveled miles and miles and miles to culturally appropriate the Vikings. Some assimilated with the Vikings through farming, marriage, and combat. How is that cultural appropriation? Marriage. What comes after marriage? Children. Would those children not be Viking or at least half Viking? Therefore, not cultural appropriation? I know, man. I know. The things you can figure out when you think a little bit. And now, thanks to you, even if you want this to make sense, it does. Because the actress is clearly what? Half black. So even if you want to say that she or her parent assimilated through marriage, she's the product of that. With that being said, are we ever going to get to a time when black people and other marginalized communities can get a fictional character without you guys going fucking insane? Ever? Like ever?
And before you start with me, yeah, it has to do with her race. Because this is a story about Viking.
Girl, just say that you're racist and move it along. I am so sick of tired of white people complaining that a white movie character is being played by a black person. Do you know how many movies that I watched that a white person played a black character in that movie? I could name you all those times right now. All this anger you have built towards a black person playing a white character, have that same energy when you see a white person playing a black character. All right? Stop this internalized racist bullshit and call it a day. Just stop it, period. At the end of the day, that black girl is still going to play that white character and she's still going to cash her check in at the end of the day. So you're going to be pissed and you're going to be mad while she went to the bank and make her money off that movie. I said what I said.
What the fuck? And before you start with me, yeah, it has to do with her race.
It's funny you posted this on your profile that's labeled Alt IG. Like, yeah, it's Alt, all right.
Because this is a story about Vikings.
In 2013, Johnny Depp played Tonto in The Lone Ranger. Tonto is a Native American man in the source material.
Look at the real Astrid. Blonde hair, blue eyes.
Well, I mean, Astrid's not real, you know what I mean? But you know who was? Marianne Pearl, who was a black Chinese and Cuban woman, and she was portrayed by Angelina Jolie on the big screen.
You know, people love to throw out the term whitewashed a lot, but I would really love to discuss what kind of color washing is happening to every live-action movie that comes out now.
Yeah, we can definitely have that combo once you keep the same energy the other way around. For instance, Bullet Train, which starred Brad Pitt, was based on a Japanese novel about a Japanese hitman.
I was willing to let go of the CGI thing when you weren't gonna do another race swap.
Facts. When they race swapped Scarlett Johansson into Ghost in the Shell, that shit was crazy disrespectful, right? Right, Molly Mouse? Please say right.
What is so hard about staying true to the original stories? Do we have to keep reinventing them? Because obviously no one likes them.
That's what I'm saying. Like having Ben Affleck play a Mexican man in Argo or Jake Gyllenhaal playing a Middle Eastern man in Prince of Persia. Like stick to the source. Yes, queen. When clowns like this are very loud about their criticism one way, but dead silent on the same form of criticism on the opposite end, it says a lot about how their brain dead mentality works. Let's be better, little fella. Give me a kiss.
What the fuck? And before you start with me, yeah, it has to do with her race. Because this is a story about Vikings. Look at the real Astrid. Blonde hair, blue eyes. You know, people love to throw out the term whitewashed a lot, but I would really love to discuss what kind of color washing is happening to every live action movie that comes out now. Didn't need it, definitely didn't need it, still don't want it. And here you guys are.
Well, hello there. I understand why her teeth are yellow with rage. Because she's right. We need to stop human washing cartoon characters. These characters aren't real. And yeah, she only showed black actresses in parts that she had a problem with. But it's not because they're black. It's because they're human. Cartoon Astrid has this very impossibly thin neck, which would defy the laws of gravity in real life because it's holding up that humongous head. Only a cartoon character can have a button nose so far down and almost touching that insinuation of an upper lip. Let's keep real life in real life, like real toothbrushes, real teeth whitening kits, real Botox. Let's stop this PC bullshit where real people play cartoon characters. Because I know for a fact she doesn't think that there were no Black Vikings, because there were. So this must be her concern, that humans are human washing cartoon characters, and I understand that. Let's leave the fantasy world in the fantasy world. 10 out of 10.
What the fuck? And before you start with me, yeah, it has to do with her race. Because this is a story about Vikings.
Who fight dragons? But please continue.
Look at the real Astrid. Blonde hair, blue eyes.
Well, me and this girl were actually mutuals, and I've since unfollowed her for obvious reasons, but this slid across my For You page desk. And racist is gonna be racist. I learned that a long time ago, but let me tell you what really gets me about this video.
Didn't need it. Definitely didn't need it. Still don't want it.
I see what you did there with How to Train Your Dragon, trying to disguise it as like, oh, we're erasing history because this has Vikings, even though they're fighting dragons, so this is a made-up world anyway. But you went out of your way to talk about two borderline irrelevant characters in a movie adaptation that's one of the worst movie adaptations I've ever seen. You went out of your way to talk about one of Disney's worst movies that nobody is thinking about and pointed out the two black kids in that movie. And then you came after the beautiful and magnificent Cynthia Erivo twice. Once in Wicked, where the literal story is about prejudice, propaganda, and just straight up racism, has a black woman at its center, playing a green witch, by the way. Like, I know this is going to go over your head, but let's just try and think rationally about this. But you came after Cynthia Erivo as the Blue Fairy in the live-action 2022 version of Pinocchio, which is still a terrible movie that nobody wants to see or talk about. You're leaving no stone unturned. You're saying, I don't want black people in the big good stuff, and I don't want black people in the small bad things. I hate it all.
No, I was willing to let go of the mermaid thing and the blue fairy thing and all these things because those are just mythological, made-up things. But now you're just distorting history so that you can effectively pander.
I don't know how your face could be so well acquainted with the point by smacking headfirst into it and you still miss it. History was already distorted when they added dragons to the movie. You were cool with dragons existing in the world. They can exist, but when a black person wants to be a part of it, oh! Who's also going to tell her that America Ferrera, a Latina woman, voiced Astrid in the first place? Who's gonna tell her?
I hear a lot of people complain that we don't talk about black history enough. Well, yeah, maybe it's because y'all are busy stealing everyone else's history.
Wow. Like, why are you even still following me, bro? You know, let me just fix that. No, it's still not right. Oh, yeah, that's better.
And before you start with me, yeah, it has to do with her race. Because this is a story about Vikings. Look at the real Astrid. Blonde hair, blue eyes. You know, people love to throw out the term whitewashed a lot, but I would really love to discuss what kind of color washing is happening to every...
Grown adults crashing out over a children's movie will never not be hilarious to me. It will never not be comical because it's always the same sick argument. Listen, watching in real time how much of a mental illness racism is a crazy sight to see. What do you mean you are crashing out over the live action How to Train Your Dragons movie? because the actress playing it would not be historically accurate. Mind you, a movie called How to Train Your Dragons, I think that was probably a giveaway that it was not going to be historically accurate. Also, what I find even crazier is that the actress who is playing Astrid in the live action movie of How to Train Your Dragons is not even that black. Like, she's quite literally 70% white, I think, something around that number. Yet to that little 20% of whatever black she has in her, that is just more than enough to be considered unqualified to step into the historically accurate role of Astrid in the movie of How to Train Your Dragons. That's what y'all are sitting up in here and saying. Look, and maybe, you know what? Maybe I know nothing about the Vikings. Maybe I know nothing about the Vikings because first y'all were telling us they were going into battle with box braids. Box braids, box braids. Now y'all are saying they were flying dragons. Look, I don't know what to believe. I don't know what to believe. I don't know what's going on, but I can't do this anymore. I can't.
I refuse to ever in my life give a shit about white people who are mad about race casting, even if it is culturally significant for one reason and one reason in particular. That being that I spent the entirety of my preliminary youth unaware that Cleveland Brown is voiced by a white man. Indeed, unfaithful to what God truly intended, I was a staggering 15 years old when a friend in geometry class informed me that this is indeed the face of my beloved African-American friend. And while I could throw 21st Century Fox a bone here, considering they did attempt to rectify this travesty a mere 20 seasons into the TV show's run, I fear the psychological damage has already been done. Much like discovering that Santa Claus is not real and that my dad wasn't really heating up those spoons because his soup was cold, this is one of those things that I'm going to be mourning for the rest of my life. An additional not-so-fun fact, the same white man also voices Consuela, and this revelation was even more jarring for me personally, considering I had always just assumed that Consuela was voiced by mi abuela Aloysa. In conclusion, I could give two fucks about the fact that the Scandinavian they picked to play Astrid in How to Train Your Dragon is 20% black.
Let me tell you something. If you are one of these people who is upset that a non-existing fictional character with green skin is being represented by a black actress, then I do not ever in your life want to hear you say, why do you make everything about race? Huh? If you are a person that is angry because a character from any book, any cartoon, anything that is fictional, that's the key word here, fictional. If you are angry about a fictional character being played by a black woman, a black man, don't ever fix your mouth to say to any black person, any person of color, why do you make everything about race? Because, baby, the entire reason why we have to have black characters is because we haven't had them before. We haven't had that representation. Why? Because y'all have made everything about race, about your race, to be specific, about the superiority of your race, right? And the inferiority of our race and everyone else's. Yeah, y'all have seen yourselves represented for so long that you don't understand or you can't compute seeing anybody else represented. And the fact that y'all don't see that as things being fair and equal is a lot. That says a lot about you. That says a lot about the type of person you are. See, it wasn't us who made everything about race. We are forced to live within the system, right? We are forced to live within the society, within a world that sees race as being a real thing and gives actual weight to it, gives meaning to it, gives value to it. Thus, everything, litigation, education, media, literature, so on and so forth, all have to do with race. Everything. Everything. Because if it wasn't about race, you would not get up here to fix your lips to tell us that you do not like a black person playing a fictional character, a movie, from a book, whatever the case is. You would not say that if it wasn't already about race. Yeah, exactly. So do me a favor. Do all of us a favor. Don't ever say that dumb shit again. Okay? If you want to know why we make everything about race, do a history lesson for yourself. Go read about what your ancestors did when they created this place, when they created race. Go and research that. Go and look up why every character for the last few hundred years has been white. Even non-white characters have been played by white people in movies up until very recent years. We are just now seeing where it's getting close to being as equal as white people being represented and us being represented. It's getting there. It's getting there. We're getting closer, okay, is what I'm trying to say. We're getting closer to it, but it's still not there yet. The fact that y'all have a problem seeing another race represented, baby, you have some self-reflecting to do. So when you want to find out, or you want to ask the question, why is everything about race? Why do y'all make everything about race? You're asking yourself, because y'all make everything about race. If you didn't, seeing a black person portray a fictional character would not bother you. You would not be bothered. And yet here we are. So I don't ever want to hear that dumb shit again. Okay.
Because this is being talked about so much, I just have to clear this up for everybody. This has nothing to do with racism, but everybody's bringing up racism is probably racist in themselves. This is the historical accurate representation of this fictional character. In this fictional verse, she is historically accurate as a white woman with blonde hair, blue eyes, whatever. This does not represent that, so it is blackwashing. Very easy to understand, making a white woman into a black person. Just as Static Shock, if he was, as we know, historically accurate to his verse, he is black. But if you changed him into a white man, then the next fucking chapter, I'm pretty sure we're all going to say that's whitewashing. I think we'd all be upset. I'd be upset. Same with Black Panther. Historically accurate within his fictional verse, he is black. And I think if we had a live action, and in the Marvel movies, if he changed to white man, I'm pretty sure we're all going to be upset. Because it's not historically accurate to his character. Same with Boondocks, a live action of this. But if they all got changed to white people, we'd all be upset. I'd 100% be upset because I love the Boondocks. And if they weren't represented as black people, I would not want to watch it because it's not going to be the same. And again, I can just start naming every single other fictional piece where the people are not white and they get changed to white and it's not going to be the same. Because it's not accurately representing historically that historical character in that fictional verse. I have to constantly repeat that because everybody just wants to say, well, because this is How to Train Your Dragon and it's just a fictional thing, anybody can be this. But they don't have that same type of energy when it comes to every single other verse of any other black character being swapped to white, and they would call it whitewashing or whatever, trying to take away representation. I personally just do not like that, just as I don't like this. I don't want anybody from any fictional verse to change the race of a character. Keep it the same, so that we can all have the same experience that we had growing up. People have to stop calling everything racist because they want to see the historical accurate fictional character being white in a live action also be white. That's not racism. That's just asking to actually be accurate with the source material. Thank you and have a nice day. Because this is being talked about so much, I just have to clear this up for everybody. This has nothing to do with racism, but everybody's bringing up racism is probably racist in themselves. This is the historical accurate representation of this fictional character.
Divine Anime, I can't believe we're actually doing this right now. And you're my mutual. I really hope this is coming from a place of a lack of knowledge, so I'm going to respectfully debunk you because this is actually the worst take I've ever heard in my life. Like, genuinely. The first thing you said is that your problem with this character is not race, it's historical accuracy. But this is not a historical movie, so that doesn't even make any sense. This is not a historical character. This is a fictional character in a fictional movie in a fictional universe. There is literally nothing historical about this. And what's bizarre is that the pictures you showed, they look the same. They have the same face shape. They have the same nose shape. They have the same eye shape. They have the same skin color. Like, what are you actually talking about right now? On top of that, the actress for this is 75% white. 75%. And they look the same. What do you mean accuracy? The race of the cartoon character is literally never brought up or mentioned. For all you know, she could be 75% white as well. And it double doesn't matter because it has no significance on the plot of the movie. And on top of that, you're double wrong if you're talking about accuracy, because the voice actors or the character in both movies, neither of them are white. You have a Latina and an Asian. So what are you actually talking about? And then you made this weird argument bringing up Black Panther, saying that if the person who played Black Panther was white, we would all have a problem with it. But hold on, why are you shifting the goalpost? This person is 75% white. Somebody who was 75% black played T'Challa. We're saying that we would all have a problem with it. Nobody would have a problem with it except you, buddy. And then, I don't know if you're doing this on purpose, but you keep on moving the goalpost. You said in the Boondocks, if they all got changed to white people, we would have a problem with it. When did all the characters in this movie get changed to black people? So, you keep moving the goalpost to make your argument make sense, but it still doesn't make any sense. And then I think most importantly, you keep using the term blackwashing. That is not a real thing. Blackwashing does not exist. Why does blackwashing not exist? Well, first we have to talk about the history of whitewashing. Whitewashing is the historical practice of intentionally excluding black characters and black people from media to make the media more palatable for a white audience. So over the course of history, you have entire generations of film and media that entirely exclude black people solely for the purpose of racism. So the attempt to correct the historical exclusion of black people is not somehow a discrimination or oppression of white people. Respectfully, you actually don't know what you're talking about at all. But none of that even matters because for all intents and purposes, she is clearly a white passing woman. You keep on bringing these other movie franchises as if anybody would have a problem with it except you. If the Boondocks live action had characters that were 75% black, nobody would complain. If Black Panther was played by somebody who was 75% black, nobody would complain. If Aladdin had characters who were 75% Indian, nobody would be complaining. So the point you're trying to prove is a self-defeating point.
But wait, hold on. Wait a minute. I thought race didn't matter. I thought that they just picked the right person for the job. I thought y'all don't see color. I don't understand why y'all so mad. The studio went out and had a bunch of auditions, and she was the best person to portray the job. She's the best candidate to represent this character. So she got it off merit. So why are you guys so upset about her color? I thought you didn't care about that. I thought you just wanted the person that was right for the job. Well, the studio went out and said she was the right person for the job. The studio literally went out and picked the best actress based off merit, based off of her qualifications. And you guys made it about race. You guys made it about race, bro. Isn't that something? Why are y'all so up in arms? I thought y'all wanted to live in a colorblind society. I thought y'all didn't care. Now y'all do for some reason. Oh, why do y'all care so much now? I wonder why. Boy, if y'all don't choke.
Y'all be so fake outraged about shit, it is absolutely sickening. Y'all are mad about this, and then you want to bring up some BS example like, what if Tom Hanks played Martin Luther King or Black Panther? So we just gonna forget the whole era of YT actors going outside in complete blackface with big painted pink lips, acting in a stereotypical manner, making fun of black people. Projecting stereotypes that people still believe today. Y'all not serious, bro. Y'all not serious about this. I refuse to believe that y'all serious about this. Y'all getting mad about a fantasy character that doesn't even exist in real life is insane. Absolutely insane. Let me tell you something. Dragons aren't real. Mermaids aren't real. I mean, if you listen to enough Joe Rogan and Graham Hancock on their drug-fueled rants, I'm almost certain that you would believe it. But no, guys. It is a fictional universe. Can we please... when was the last time you even saw How to Train Your Dragon? Can we stop? What is going on here, bro? What is going on here? Y'all be so fake outraged about anything involving black people, and instead of y'all just saying you don't like black people, y'all rather just do it in the most weird way. Stop it, bro. At least get a new playbook. At least get a new playbook. Because nobody takes this seriously. You don't like it, don't watch it. Watch the original. Okay? Have a nice fucking day. Matter of fact, don't have a nice fucking day. Fuck you.
How did we go from this to this? Why are they taking a Viking heritage character that is blonde hair, has blue eyes, has pale white skin, and using a black actress to play the live action of that same character?
So, did Massa and them pick you? Or is this buffoonery just your favorite extracurricular activity? Wait until y'all find out that they're not using real dragons in the movie either. No! I just know that that's gonna have y'all screaming, crying, throwing up, and sliding down a wall. I'm gonna hold your hand with a napkin in between when I say this. Buki, this is a fictional movie based off of a fictional scenario. Y'all did this same shit with The Little Mermaid. Are y'all not fucking embarrassed? Like, this is so embarrassing. And I know what y'all's argument is about to be. The Vikings were real people, though. Okay, and I hear you, and I know you thought you ate with that. But babe, do me a favor and go check out your local food bank, because bitch, you're fucking starving, and it brings me joy to tell you why. This is America Ferrera, the original voice of Astrid. This is America Ferrera's ethnicity. Honduran American. Now tell me where the Vikings originated. I'll give you a hint. It's not Honduras. Vikings originated in Scandinavia, which is now made up of Denmark, Norway, and Sweden. Honduras is somewhere over here. So where was the outrage when a woman who was from over here voiced a woman who was supposedly from here? I'm waiting. In fact, and let me add a second napkin in between when I tell you this, there is one person in the original cast who is of Scandinavian descent. That is Kristen Wiig, who plays Rough Nut, who gets barely any screen time. So let me ask you again, where was your outrage then? Again, I'm waiting. Time's up. The answer is that y'all don't actually give a shit, because there is just about as much Scandinavian descent in the original cast as there is of JLo's own vocals in her song. Let me go ahead and add a third napkin in between when I tell you this. Your racism, which you think is quiet, is in fact very loud. Hope this helps. Peace and love. Talk to you later.
How did we go from this?
I am curious to hear why some people are so comfortable just waking up as an Uncle Tom.
Well, that was a weird way of calling me a hero. I mean, given Uncle Tom's Cabin was written about a man who was a hero, y'all always telling me to do my research, but y'all don't even know your own history. Tom cared for people, whether they were white or black. Yeah, it was a bad time, but he saw the fact that these were people. And the little girl that he saved wasn't that bad, and neither was her dad. So her dad actually purchased Tom so that they can be best friends. It goes a little bit deeper than that, but I'm not your mama, and I'm not gonna read a story to you. You can start by thanking me, because now you know he's a hero. So now you can start calling me a hero instead of Uncle Tom. I'll come back though, because the next time I have to charge.
This is all I got from this video, right? It's really amazing how she said that we don't talk about history enough, but then we are busy stealing other people's. Are you serious? I mean, that is like, I don't know, pork calling kettle. Is that what pork calling kettle? No, charcoal calling kettle black. Reverse whatever that she's trying to play. I don't know what will make a full-grown adult come out and pander over a cartoon character that is not real, right? That a black woman played the character. And when you look at the percentage of, like, I just do not get it. And this actually tells you how people put in so much effort or like work to make sure that they do not see you succeed, right? Because Black people are actually not supposed to have anything good. Black people are not supposed to have anything going. You are not supposed to be doing well, and you are not supposed to be like, up and doing. Because why would you? I mean, it would have been perfectly great if it was like the way she described the cartoon character that is white and blonde with blonde hair and blue eyes, right? So if the same person had played the same character, I mean, it would have been perfect, but not people that look like me. You do not get that opportunity, or you are not even supposed to have the opportunity to experience that or to do something like this. That tells you how crazy or wild some people are. Now, sometimes people ponder over some certain things that are not necessary. And this particular one is part of it because I already do not see how she woke up and connected the whole thing to Black people and how we steal people's culture and all that. It's just like a colonizer coming to tell me that I am also a colonizer. Then you look at both of us, you definitely will know who is who and who is not, right? Man, some people are really crazy because if not, why would somebody come out here and make videos like this? Like, I mean, we say everything is, of course. Did we create race? I mean, I don't know why somebody is so bothered or so, like, worked up about cartoon characters that are not real, that probably, I mean, if you look around, like, she said it's a typical Viking and all that. So it's just supposed to be the same character on the movie that should be playing the same character, not another person that is not 100% white. What the hell is going on with these people? Oh, sorry. Did I swear? I hope not. All right. So, really, I do not know why all this came up and how now they are looking for a way to put Black people, like, if she had, see, sincerely speaking, I don't know anything about her political values and all that, but if she had put in all this work or effort into educating her people, during the election, I am sure. Sorry, I brought election into this, but sincerely speaking, I have to link into this. I am sure that all this back and forth that we've been going since the election result came out, we probably won't be having it because they will be grounded with what is going and also CRT because majority of them do not know anything about CRT and they did not teach them anything because I hear some of them saying, how come we did not learn all this in school? And I started learning all this from Black content creators, Some people are just messed. Why? Because that is just who they are. I mean, just come out straight and say this is who you are. But you don't also need to tell us because we also can read the handwriting on the wall. I mean, people must not always tell us that I am this before we know they are this. Sometimes you read it and and then you know your limit and how to treat them and the rest of it. See you all in my next video. Bye for now.